There are so many wonderful networking groups. ACW, Alliance of Channel Women, is fantastic, and they have a huge member base. So they've got a lot of opportunity to do a lot of different things. For us, our differentiator is, one, we have no membership dues or fees, because we don't want that to be a barrier to be a part of our organization or anyone else's.
Hi, my name is Courtney, and welcome to How They Scaled It, where scaling is done with both sides of the brain. Today, I'm excited to welcome Dani Pickens. Dani has become one of the youngest female channel chiefs in the telecom industry, currently at Exidium. But beyond her corporate success, Dani is the founder of the Executive Evolution, or T for short, a fast-growing women's networking group dedicated to community, mentorship, and support for female professionals. What started as a personal need for connection has grown into a thriving organization with over 120 members and 4 chapters across the country in just 3 years. Dani, it is such an honor to have you here today. Welcome to How They Scaled It.
Thank you. Thanks, Courtney. Happy to be here. Excited to chat.
Amazing. Well, let's go ahead and start with your very impressive career in the telecom industry. What drew you to that space?
Well, I actually stumbled into it, to be quite honest. I had just moved back from Istanbul. I was living over in Turkey for about 9 months. I got a little homesick. My humble beginnings out of Northeast Texas, so a little country girl, and I wanted to get back home. So I came home early, started looking for a job, really wasn't ready for a big girl job yet. I was still kind of in that whimsical, living abroad mentality, but I answered, I'm going to age myself here. I answered a Craigslist ad that had an opening for an outside door-to-door salesman for the local phone company. So I started out different time. Craigslist, door-to-door, but taught me a lot, cut my teeth, knocking doors, selling home phone, 3 meg DSL internet. And at the time, the company that I worked for was Windstream, and they were partnered with a satellite company. So it was a little bit of a wild, wild west for a year and a half, but moved up into the business department with them, then continued to kind of move up within the company. And somehow I ended up here today.
Yeah. Was there something in particular that you really liked about the company or what you were selling, or just like getting outside?
I've always been kind of a sales girl at heart, right?
Yeah.
You've got to sell and be yourself, and it's a lot of fun. And even though it was just 3 meg home DSL for neighborhoods and phone, it was really fun just getting to meet new people.
Yeah.
I'm sure I got the door slammed in my face a few times, but I also had the little granny down the street invite me in and make me some sweet tea and give me a jar of peach jam to take home. So it just really fueled my love for meeting and being engaged with all kinds of different people from different backgrounds and different needs. And so that really evolved into getting into the business department. And then what I'm in today is channel, and it's a very dynamic, fast-paced industry, a kind of a silo, a part of the telecom space. But it's a lot of fun helping people and getting to meet all kinds of characters every single day.
Yeah. I feel like when you do door-to-door sales or any kind of sales job when you're very young, you get used to hearing no, but then you like crave the yes a little bit more, and you kind of like build up that tolerance for no. So I feel like those are the types of people who like really turn into really good entrepreneurs or really go far in their career, because you don't like shy away from the no.
Yeah, that doesn't scare me. You said no, fine, I'll go find somebody else.
Yeah, there's another door next door that I can go knock on.
I always, when I talk to younger folks and who are starting their career or interns or in college, I'm like, it's not going to be fun.
Yeah.
Well, it is fun. It's not going to be easy. There are hard days knocking doors and people yelling at you or slamming the door, right? Or even in businesses, right? There's a lot of door-to-door business strategies out there. My husband actually cut his teeth knocking door to door for his company years ago. And it changes you, but it changes you for the better. Like you said, you can take the word no and move right on. So.
Yeah. Oh, so interesting. So then you kind of worked your way up and you became one of the youngest female channel chiefs, which is like a pretty big deal, I would say. So how did that come apart? Like, were there any like pivotal moments or mentors, or how'd you make that happen?
Oh, for sure. I did not get here on my own.
Yeah.
A lot of times, probably people dragging me along, right? Kicking and screaming. Change is hard. And I coached a young lady, one of my favorite people, actually. She's fantastic. And she's like, hey, how did you do this? I said, well, lots of gray hairs, a few tears along the road. I said, so be ready, because you have to take calculated risk.
Yeah.
And you're not going to win every time, right?
Yeah.
You're just not. And you have to be ready for that. But if you don't take these calculated risks and you stay in the safe zone and you stay in your comfort zone, you don't take these big chances, you won't get big rewards. Very, very few are lucky to say that they don't take a big risk and then they land, they win the lottery, right?
Right.
But you have to buy the ticket. You got to do it. And I took some very big risk in my career. Certainly felt some pain from it. It's not been an easy journey, but it's been very rewarding. And I am very honored. I set a goal early in my career that I wanted to be channel chief by 40. And I was very surprised. It kind of happened out of nowhere. There were some shifts. Telecom, right? Industry is ever changing. And I was asked to step up into the leadership role 6 months before my 37th birthday.
Oh my gosh, you were way ahead of schedule, huh?
Yeah. And I wouldn't have been there had I not made some calculated risks. I left some really big jobs, some cushy, amazing culture, great money jobs. And people looked at me like, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? You left Zoom?
Yeah.
You left Dialpad? And I still bleed blue and purple for those companies. I love those companies. But I had to take big risk for my career. And they've done well so far. I'm not going to win always. Somewhere I will not win. But I've been very fortunate with the people, the mentors, the calculated risks so far. It's been really rewarding.
Well, that's amazing. And so then in 2022, you decided to found the Executive Evolution, which is this amazing networking group. So what led you to do that? Because I feel like your plate was probably full with your current job at Exidium. So what brought you into the Executive Evolution?
Yeah, so that story is definitely tied to one of those calculated risks. I made a big change in 2020, leaving a company, going to another company that were highly competitive. And I unfortunately got put into a non-compete lawsuit. I really got caught between mom and dad's divorce, really. But I was in the middle of it. I unfortunately was in litigation, all kinds of just terrible things. It changed my life. I tell people I almost didn't survive it. And it was 15 months. There were restraining orders. There were, all kinds of the wildest things. That's a whole nother podcast story.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That journey, I was isolated. It was in the middle of 2020. A lot of our telecom industry friends become our family. And a part of that non-compete was that I couldn't speak to these people. I was getting married. Our best man in the wedding was in the industry that I legally was supposed to not be able to talk to. There was just all kinds of really crazy things happening. And I told the universe, I said, if I survive this, if I make it through this, I promise you I will pour myself into every other person that I can. I will do everything I can to help teach, show what not to do. Don't burn the place down on your way out. So, don't do these things and really learn from each other. Yes, I've got a lot of strengths and I've got a lot of really great things that I can tell you what to do, but I've got more about what not to do. Don't touch the stove, right? And those are things that we should be sharing as women, as colleagues, right? And so when I got on the other side of that, the universe was pulling me and said, all right, it's time to keep your promise. And I went to my best friend. So I'm a co-founder of T, and I went to my best friend, Heather Graham, and I said, I've got this idea. Let's build this. Let's build this community and really create this mentorship, this sisterhood of being able to share best practices. Hey, don't do this. Hey, I need help. It's a lot of times that we shoulder and have these heavy burdens that we go in silence about. A lot of people don't know the struggles because we have to keep a smile on your face and be on LinkedIn and everything's great because we're salespeople. Nobody wants to buy from, somebody that's laying on the floor crying 5 minutes before, or just do it and don't tell anyone. But that's not truth. That's not being a human being. And so I think that there's this element of our industry that was lost, that was shoved under the doormat, that don't talk about being a human being. Don't talk about your weakness or vulnerabilities or your fears. And that is not who we are. And I think that's what pulls a lot of people, a lot of salespeople apart, is just this pressure and nowhere to go. And so we built a home, a community where these women can share and be celebrated and help and connect and network. And we're really proud. We've placed probably 10 plus people at new jobs and connected folks, and, really help people through all kinds of things that affect maybe women only, but as a business woman, a business person that just needs an ear and a friend.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, I think, one thing that you hear a lot is like, oh, it's just business, it's not personal. And I think what you experienced in this whole lawsuit, and it's deeply personal because these companies, they expect a lot from you, and you pour your life into it, and it becomes a part of not your whole identity, obviously, but
a big part.
Yeah, and the people that you work with, you're with them every day for years sometimes. And so whenever people are like, well, it's not personal, it's just business. Like, in what world is it not personal?
Yeah.
And so then,
my heart was crushed.
Yeah. And then you're like embracing that with the executive evolution, where you're like, it is personal and you are a person. And you're right. Like, I feel like we're always losing our humanity a little bit, bit by bit. Like it just happens over time with like increases in technology, but having somewhere where we can say, no, we are, like, let's center, let's ground ourselves. I think that's probably why it's been doing so well, is that just giving somewhere, a place where people can just be human. Yeah. And I always think it's so interesting that authenticity becomes such a differentiator.
And being genuine. And it's funny because I tell a lot of failure stories, what people would consider failure, but you don't fail if you don't give up. If you don't stop, right? You learned a lesson, and just keep going, take that in, and make you better, right? I agree with you. The human element. I wanted to start a podcast. Maybe I'll pick it up after this, being inspired by you.
You should.
I wanted to create a podcast called The Human Channel, because our industry is called The Channel. But it's all about technology, and it's all about being driven, but it's really about bringing that human element back front and center. So
no, I love that. I also, when you talk about, like, I didn't think I was going to survive this whole situation, but the universe, like, pulled me through. I love having those moments where you're like, this is the hardest thing that I've ever done, but now every single experience you have after this, you can point back to me like, well, it's not as bad as that, and I survived that, so I can do anything now. Like, as long as it's not as hard as that, I'll be fine.
Yeah, right. It's funny because I have a dear friend that I have a sticky note that when I was going through this, he was actually my boss, leader over at the company. And he said, Dani, tough times don't last. Tough people do.
Yeah.
And that, it was just resonated with me. I was like, I'm not going to give up. I can't give up. And my family, and there were all these things that just kept me going, my mentors, my friends, my husband, my boys. But I read the other day, you have 100% track record of making it through your worst days.
That's so true.
You got it.
I love that. Yeah. The one thing that all successful people have in common is that they didn't give up. That's like the only thing that they all have in common. So as long as you just don't give up, you just keep getting up, doing the thing. So when you think about you have over 120 members. Who are these people? Like, what roles are they in? Is it like for specific types of people at certain levels in their career? Like, who are you supporting the most?
Yeah, we get a lot of questions around that. I'm glad you brought that up because I chose the name, and maybe it was a bad name because everybody's like, oh, I'm not an executive, so I can't be a part. No, no, this is your executive evolution. And executive
Yeah.
can mean anything, right? You're owning your life, your own business, right? You're being an entrepreneur of your own destiny,
Hmm.
owning that. So it's an executive evolution, but it's for everyone from all kinds of backgrounds. We just had a wonderful event 2 days ago, and we had women there that are channel chiefs. We had women there that were just starting their career and were talking about, what do I do? And we had this sweet gal. It was her first time with us, and she's brand new to the scene. And this is her first tech sales job the past
Hmm.
8 months. And she's like, I'm so glad I found you guys. I've learned so much today, and we offer help. And I have a big sales training and SKO for my team coming up. And a young lady was like, I've never been through channel manager training. I'm like, come on, you can,
Yeah.
it'll be at this time, just come sit in. And she's like, really? I was like, if you really want to sit through my boot camp, yes, come on. It's about helping others. The channel
Yeah.
industry specifically is very unique because we're salespeople, but it is relationship driven. It is
Hmm.
dynamics. We're still supposed to be business partners and drive value for our partners' business, but it's also relationship and being there and being trust and transparency. So there's all these different layers of complexity on partner management. And I've been very fortunate. I always laugh and say I'm a classically trained channel manager, like a ballerina.
Yeah.
The company I will nod my hat to that I had an unfortunate departure from with that non-compete issue.
Hmm.
They put me through so much training for channel management, and I'm honestly so grateful for that. I will
Yeah.
always be appreciative and say what a great company they were before I left.
Right.
And I see all the time that there are women that have never been given that opportunity to be in some kind of management training. So that's a big part of the executive evolution is bringing everybody together. Let's learn from each other, leverage each other's strengths so that we can be a stronger community together.
Yeah, I love that, and I know that a lot of companies are pulling back on training, and what they're doing is they're trying to hire people who already have the experience, but like there's nowhere to get that experience.
Yeah.
And so doing things like management training or training more specifically in like that industry has probably made a huge difference for some of these women. And just that kind of, you feel like your main differentiator from these other networking groups?
Um, there are so many wonderful networking groups.
Mhm.
ACW, Alliance of Channel Women, is fantastic, and they have a huge member base, so they've got a lot of opportunity to do a lot of different things. For us, our differentiator is one: we have no membership dues or fees
Right.
because we don't want that to be a barrier to be a
Mhm.
part of our organization or anyone else's. We do a lot of charitable work. And that's was used to be a little bit of a differentiator, not so much anymore. A lot of others have adopted that same approach. I think our differentiator is that
Mhm.
sense of community and building the spark. And
Yeah.
again, that mentorship program is a really huge piece of who we are.
I as someone who does a lot of networking, I can say every group is a little bit different, but um, having mentorship, I think, is something that you don't get. Everyone's kind of there, like, all right, this is what I have, this is what you have. How can we exchange our services here? But kind of shifting to be more mentorship focused, that is a big difference,
Mhm.
especially for young women who don't always get as much mentorship.
Right. I certainly I had maybe one or two. And so now that we can give these young ladies that are coming in 15, 20 more, that's really special.
Yeah. Well, so you've scaled quite a bit in the last couple of years since starting, but we know that scaling isn't always linear. So what were some of those challenges early on getting tea off the ground, and how did you kind of work through those?
Yeah. It was a lot of learning. I am not a business owner. Didn't know where to start, so it was a lot of trial and error. I became a master in Canva and Jotform
Right.
and website building. Although our website, I am going to hire a professional. I keep telling our board, I promise. But it was a lot of fun learning. And when we were smaller, it was okay. It worked. And I think we're actually facing that scaling and seeing a lot of challenges now because we have gotten and have gotten so large grown, and there's actually a bigger demand than we can keep up with. And I carry that a lot, that if I had a few more a better process, could we scale faster? Could we reach more? Could we help more?
Yeah.
So I lose a little sleep at night over that. So we are looking, I have an incredible board that is helping me scale this appropriately so that we can reach and answer the demand that ladies are looking for to help and join and be a part of T. I think the biggest thing right now, we are looking, again, the way that this was built and grew so fast, because we took about a year and a half off to help some dear friend through some medical journey of hers. But when we came back to it, it has just exploded. And we're trying to work on our nonprofit, to try to get everything in order so that it's not an LLC, and so that we can actually do the right things for the organization, and get it all pretty, buttoned up with a bow on it. So
Yeah. How did you, so you say you have a board, how did you build that board out?
yeah. Oh, well, we did our first retreat 2 years ago, and after that retreat, it was just Heather and I, and then we had this young lady that came to us with the retreat idea. She wanted to join forces. She had created Female Executive Mindshare. She's like, hey, how do I scale this? Let's work together.
Yeah.
And the three of us put together this 30-person retreat in Austin. We had 30 women from all over the country come, California, North Carolina, all over, and it was a wonderful success. I don't know. It was a miracle we pulled it off, but you don't know until you show up what you're going to face. It was our first one. It was amazing. And after that retreat, we were like, we need a board.
Right.
We gotta have a board after that experience, right?
Yeah.
But some of those young ladies that really showed up, that were a part of panels, that were mentoring girls, that were really just vocal leaders immediately right out of the gates from that retreat we went to, and we said, hey, you are no doubt a star in this industry. You are a girl's girl, and we want your voice, your vision, your unique perspective to be a part of this growth and help T become the best it can. So we asked immediately Darcy, who is the Female Executive Mindshare creator, to be our director of special events. So she does she's the leader for our annual Femme retreat, as well as our annual big charity event for breast cancer awareness. Then we brought in Sharina Krishner, who is our sponsorship director. No one tells Sharina no. So
That's good.
We go to. She is a firecracker, just powerful woman. Mackenzie Manis joined our board as communications marketing director. She's incredible, just this amazing, genuine woman who shows up for everyone. She should probably say no a little bit more to us, but she's incredible. And then last but not least, we asked Jackie McElvine to join. If you know Jackie, to know Jackie is to love Jackie. She is our sunshine, positivity. She texts us like every other day, just this beautiful quote, just thinking of you girls. And she is just this warm soul that there's only one Jackie in the world. Yeah. And she came on board to be our membership chair. We were getting so many members asking to join, and I was trying to fill that and channel beef and all the things. And I met Jackie. She met me, actually. She asked me to coffee, and immediately I was like, she has to be a part of this. So we all agreed, asked her to be a part of the board. We've then grown beyond the board for co-chairs in the communities. So that's really helped us scale. We could not be who we are without our incredible co-chairs. There's typically 2 to 3. We like 3. That's an easy round number for responsibility, so that it's not just on 2 people, or when life seasons and it's on one person, right? So we found that 3 is the magic number for our co-chairs. They are absolutely incredible. They are the fire and soul of tea and our expansion, and how we really keep that genuine authenticity, not just here with me and our board, our main girls, right? Like, this is how we expand, and it's because of them.
Right. Well, I mean, it really sounds like you've kind of built this village to be able to like grow and bring more people in. And that first event must have been just like so magical.
Oh, man, it was really something special.
Yeah. So now that you have this board, you have these co-chairs, kind of have all these really smart people in place, how are you attracting members? Like how are you finding people to come join the network?
It is really organic, grassroots. It is word of mouth, and we've been really fortunate that the ladies have had such an incredible experience that they are going out, they are evangelizing, and they're the recruiting new members, right?
Yeah.
So it's funny, we had an event this week in Dallas, and one of our wonderful members, oh my gosh, we had 3 members bring 3 new ladies. And then I had one of our wonderful Denver members just send me an email this week going, "Hey, this is Morgan. You have to meet Dani and the tea ladies. Like, she's got to be a part of this." So we don't advertise. A lot of LinkedIn, I guess that's advertisement, right?
Yeah.
It's really word of mouth and organic growth through our wonderful members who it's really, it's just really special, because if they love it that much and they want to share it, you're on the right path. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's like the definition of a proven product, right? Is that it kind of sells itself. And eventually you'll probably want to do some kind of marketing or to build out in a much larger way. But honestly, it sounds like you could probably keep with the word of mouth and keeping it kind of tight knit, and everyone kind of brings their friends in for a pretty long time.
We're going to have to eventually, right? I think maybe after we get all the legality and the real foundation of the organization in place, and then sky's the limit, right? We can scale and we can do some really big things. So.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about TEAM, which is the Executive Evolution Mentorships, which is like one of your big differentiators. And it seems like that is something that people really respond well to. So how did that kind of come apart? Like, how did that get structured? And is that something, like, what kind of impact have you been seeing from that?
Yeah, that was a big, big piece of even the origins of this, right? Mentorship from the very beginning. We went out, we talked and spoke up and did like these lunch and learns, but it was always about just connection, mentoring, helping one another. I had a lot of that through my hard times. How can I help others? How can I encourage other women, inspire them to help other women, and vice versa? So that was a big piece of it. We launched it very early on when it was just me and Heather, and it took on a lot. And then when we had our pause for our dear friend that was going through her breast cancer journey, we stopped everything. We made an announcement. We said, we're shutting off all the programs. We're not doing any events. This is our focus. And then through that journey, on the other side, she beat breast cancer. Yes. She fought, and very quickly we were also just in awe of her, and it was a very inspiring journey. When we came out on the other side, there was a lot to catch up on, a lot of change for me with work, and then getting channel chief, and a lot of that changed a lot of family dynamics with a lot of travel. So it really sat on the shelf for a while, and it hurt my heart. I thought about it all the time, constantly. So finally I said, enough's enough. I will just have to make time, because this was a part of my universal promise. This was who I am. So we relaunched it, and by then we had some already incredible co-chairs, other committee members that were like, we want to be a part of this. This is important to us. So we launched it, scaled it. I have 2 incredible directors that manage this. Jenna Sandomir out of Denver, Kira Augustus out of Salt Lake City, who also happen to be co-chairs of those communities. And they have, we built a pairing questionnaire. We've advertised it. You can't get on LinkedIn without seeing something once a week from the 3 of us and others that have shared it. But I believe we've paired, well, they're going to fuss at me if I get this number wrong. I believe we've paired with the relaunch in the just the past few months, I think 3 months. I think we've paired over 20 women.
Wow.
So it's incredible, right? And that's a tricky thing, finding the right two ladies who can help each other, who can learn from one another. Because yes, there's a mentor and a mentee, but I know when I mentor people, I learn just as much from them and the experience as they do from me.
Yeah. Well, and I also think that um, it's because you're probably mentoring people who are much younger, who are just kind of coming out of college, and their experience of the world is so different. And I think so important to understand like how they see things, because that's like the next generation of customers too. So
You're
it's like
right.
there is a lot of value there.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because that has been a very common parameter factor how we do that,
Mhm.
right? Because a lot of more tenured, experienced ladies want to be a mentor, and then those coming out of internships, college, or first year in the industry, they want to be the mentee. But I've seen a little bit of a shift when you get to my level. I haven't been in the industry that long.
Mhm.
I have asked some key people along the way to be mentors for me. Shane McNamara, who I am forever in debt to, Joe Sikora, and just these incredible people, Susan Leverett. These are just amazing people. But I have folks now that have actually been in the business longer than me, and longer than some of my peers, and they've been asking me or some of the other young ladies to actually mentor them because
Oh,
of what you
wow.
just said. Like, you come from that next generation of leaders. I want to continue to learn, and I think that speaks volumes about those folks, because if you stop learning, if you think you know everything,
Yeah.
you're out the door, right? You
Yeah. Yeah.
have to continue to evolve. And when you stop learning, what is that saying? You start dying.
Right. Right.
And so seeing those leaders come forward, and they don't have egos, but basically checking their egos
Right.
to say, I want to learn from someone younger, so from someone, and not necessarily even younger, but people that have been in the industry way longer than me.
Hmm.
And that's really something special, that I'm seeing that breakdown and going back to the human element of saying, hey, I want to continue to learn. I want to continue to be better. I've got vulnerabilities. I've got things that I can be better and stronger. Let's share, right?
Yeah.
Let's pair up. So it's a really cool experience to see that shift in mentality. It's
Yeah.
almost like there's a new guard coming in,
Yes.
and I love that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, like when you think about this generation, like this newest generation who's entering the workforce, I mean, they've had internet their whole life and social media their whole life and technology their whole life that we just didn't. And so they have to have some kind of perspective that is valuable, because it's a very, very just stuff has changed so fast. So I love that you have these women who recognize that and are like trying to take advantage where they can. So you also, it feels like giving back is like a big part of your life right now. I think mostly because of the experience you had with the lawsuits and everything. But you also do an annual charity fundraiser. Can you tell me more about what that is about and kind of what your role is in that organization?
Yeah, that was born from our dear friend at the time and going through her journey, and um, it really rocked us.
Yeah.
And it was quite an experience, being by her side and being the phone call, saying, "Hey, I don't want to die," and that really changed us all. And of course, we've all had mothers and aunts and grandmothers that have faced that, and
Mhm.
typically much older age. But this vibrant young woman, and more we're seeing that, right? So we had oh my goodness, this gem in our industry, uh, Morgan Granfield. She came forward and she had her own battle of breast cancer. Young mother, again, just such a tragic story, and she fought like hell. She is a breast cancer survivor, and when we were going through this journey with this other young lady, Morgan said, "Hey, pair up with the National Breast Cancer Foundation. We're so fortunate. They're here headquartered in Frisco, Texas,
Mhm.
so in the Dallas Metroplex, where a big heart of our T community is." And so we paired up with them. We do an annual fundraiser where we go out. It's donations based, but after we get all of our donations, we then go back, and again, we're lucky we get to go to the headquarters
Yeah.
here, and we do Hope Kit boxes, and we actually pack these boxes with all of these really wonderful comfort pieces. We write handwritten notes to these women that are strangers, but they're not. We're there in sisterhood and speaking to them and putting our hands on these pieces. Fuzzy socks, lemon drops, moisturizer, just little comfort pieces to know that someone's thinking of them through the hardest battle of their life. And so we pack them, and then you put the mailing label. We just did this, so it's a little fresh. I'm going to try not to cry. You put the mailing label on the box, and you see the name.
Yeah.
And you see where it's going, and you're like, it's a real person. And so as important and critical it is for there to be a million breast cancer fundraisers and for, research, this was something really special that was a big part of who we are, of connection and community, that we get to do this really special event with this amazing fundraising organization and get to just bring a little bit of sunshine to these people when they open that box.
Yeah, I love that. As I feel like cancer or those types of terminal diseases, they touch so many people, and it's just, you feel so powerless in those moments when you're sitting with your loved one who's like suffering through it, or you just feel like it's so much bigger than you are. And so I like what you're doing because you probably felt a lot more direct impact. You can raise a lot of money, which also is very important for research and everything, but having that direct impact and knowing that it's going directly to someone who's struggling and trying to be that support, I imagine it felt a little bit more like you're taking a little bit of the power that you could grab back. But that must have been so hard just to, be there with her.
Yeah, it's really amazing. So from last year, and Darcy runs this, our special events director. This is really her. I mean, of course, we're all passionate about it, but she is the driving force of keeping this going year after year. So I think we've raised now over 130 Hope Kits that we've sent out in the past 2 years. So it's really fun.
It's really special.
Amazing. Yeah, it is.
Amazing. Well, yeah, it feels like there's a lot of kind of joy and fulfillment and I mean, like, I think really valuable things that you're creating through tea, and like that community is so important to build, and it sounds like it becomes important in different ways. So whenever someone's like directly affected by something, okay, well, let's do something to try to work on this, and I really appreciate that, because again, it's not just about like, okay, I have these skills, you have these skills, how do we interchange them? It's more like, okay, we're all people. And
we're all people.
How can we all succeed more? But you've also done that while still being kind of in a full-time leadership role at your company. So how has that been? How have you been able to manage that?
I get the question a lot. How do you do it? I don't sleep.
Yeah.
No. The journey, the past 2.5 years with Exidium has been incredible. Lots of long days, long hours, but it's so rewarding because when I came in, I was learning from a great leader. I worked with him and alongside my peer who was RVP of the East. I was RVP of the West, and we just leaned in. It was the three of us, and we did everything we could. Startup life, right? You do what you can with what you got. Not a lot of manpower, right? Not a lot of budget. And so you just had to get out, boots on the ground, and you had to really believe in this. And I'll tell you, I've worked for some incredible companies, RingCentral, Zoom, through the pandemic, Dialpad, these incredible communications companies, UCaaS companies. But being here at Exidium, I've never believed in a story so much. And I think that keeps me going on those long days when I am answering for tea and trying to expand and be there for all these amazing women. I'm trying to help build this brand here at Exidium, and we're hiring and growing. I'm hiring 3 people next week. And so it's, travel, and then I have to leave time. I mean, I have to make time, and it's first. My sons, I've got 2 beautiful, incredible sons, 12 and 5, both play 2 sports, so that's fun. My husband is really my rock. Uh, a rock, hard-headed sometimes, but he's just absolutely incredible and patient and understanding. And when I had the opportunity to step up in channel chief, he goes, knowing what that meant, because he's in the industry too,
Yeah.
and he goes, this is what you wanted. This is your passion, and we'll make it work. And he's, really been so supportive and has taken care of our family while I'm doing all the things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your passion fuels you as long as you believe in it. I believe in tea. I believe in the heart of all of these girls that are around us. I believe in Excidium. And if you believe in something, that keeps you going through
Yeah.
the hard days, the long hours. And I think, not that anyone's asking me for any advice here, but if you are killing yourself at a job, right, you're still human.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make sure you believe in this and you
Right.
see the good and the goal and the end, the light at the end of the tunnel, right? And pray it's not a train coming down the tracks. But as long as you believe in it and you're being true to yourself and and having authenticity, being authentic, you can make it.
Yeah.
Just don't stop, right?
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Just keep going. And I find also like when you believe in something, it gives you energy rather than sucks your energy away. And while it's exhausting, like I don't want to downplay that at all. Like what you're doing is really hard and there's so much to balance. But I also feel that energy coming from you where because you believe in these things and the mission of Excidium and the mission of tea, and then obviously your family is going to give you energy. But like all of that is what makes you able to keep going, and like really just like continue to grow and like build more. It sounds like you don't say no to a lot of stuff yourself.
My husband gets on to me for that.
Yeah.
But I think just having that human element in what I did experience, I think that drives me to at Excidium to maybe it's a little like I'm gonna prove you wrong. Like
Yeah.
I can run this. I can be this leader. I can
Yes.
be this channel chief and still be a human being and still have this human element. And I'm gonna prove them wrong. I'm gonna show them that corporate. Yes, I know it's a business. Yes, we have to make corporate decisions, but we can be good.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. But we also see leadership as like a real key theme in your career throughout. Do you have any leadership lessons that have really made the biggest difference for you as you've gone through your career?
Those are great question. I would say the practice that I put in place of reaching out, asking for help. I tell my team constantly, I don't know everything, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna be pretty open about it, right? I want to learn from you. I want to hear your ideas. That's the biggest thing is as you are trying to drive and move into leadership roles, you're already a leader.
Yeah.
Use your voice. I was given a book a long time ago, A Leader Without a Title. You can be a leader without that title. And if you start acting like a leader now, you're going to be recognized, and those efforts and that authenticity and being genuine and wanting to help and wanting to improve process and wanting to mentor, that is going to shine and you will be a leader very quickly. You just have to do that work as a leader before you get the title.
Yeah, dress for the job you want, right?
Right.
So over the next couple of years, where do you see tea going? Where are we going to see the executive evolution?
Yes, there are new programs that we are looking at. We had a fun one that we experimented with last year called Tea Talks. We want to expand that. We had this young lady, actually my lawyer from Compete. This is a big thing in our industry and really scary. And you can't ask questions because who are you going to ask? HR?
Right. Right.
So we
Right.
had my lawyer, my legal team come on. She's an incredible young lady, very successful. She came on, kind of coached, talked through, so T Talks. So
Mhm.
we're trying to find things that leaders outside in different industries that impact, that there's ripples in ours, to come in and be a voice of expertise, right? The expert, and come in and share knowledge so that we're better prepared, so that we have a better understanding. Financial, right? I mean, a lot of folks
Yeah.
don't talk about finances, especially women, right? And so that's something to have a conversation around, to be more educated, to be more responsible, to be more secure in what we're doing. Or, oops, okay, I'm going to start doing that,
Right.
right? We want to give value and provide opportunities for our women, not just through mentorships, but through things that financial, legal, all of these different things that can impact you. Another really special program, and I'll wrap it up. We are doing launching a soft launch pilot of leadership exchange, and so we have asked. If there was a demand for this, if there was interest in this, as a young female program leader, I'm not the only one. There are some incredible women out there, and not just young, but first time program leaders. I mentioned Susan Leverett, a mentor of mine. She is an incredible woman. This is her first channel chief role this year. Very deserving, probably should have had it years ago.
Yeah.
But she, even though she's been a leader for 15, 20 years, now it's her front and center, right? And there's things that she's never been exposed to or
Mhm.
had to have the answer for. And so we went out and we asked, can we find 15 female program leaders from sales, marketing, or operations to be a
Mhm.
part of this pilot special program? The demand, we've
Yeah.
got 15 people on the waiting list, right? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we launch next week our first leadership exchange. We've got 15 incredible women, plus my communications and marketing director, Mackenzie Manis, is the moderator, although she is a program leader too. She's incredible. But this is an opportunity for us to come together in a closed room, all share our vulnerability, show up as a human, and say, hey, I need help. Oh, you know what? I did this. Oh, I learned a lesson. Don't do
Mhm.
this, right? This is where we come together and we're going to shape the future of our industry, because these 15, 16 incredible women are program leaders making decisions on what is happening today and what's going to change tomorrow.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, there is nothing like closed door or vulnerability. Like,
Yeah,
it's so powerful. It's so empowering too. Like, I'm sure all of them are gonna walk out being like, "Okay, I thought I was the only one that had that problem." Like, and
exactly.
I'm
Because we
not.
do. We have to show up and we have to pretend that everything's fine when
Yeah.
the roof's on fire,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity for us to check our egos at the door. I mean, these are all incredible women, but show up, show vulnerability, and ask for help. And more importantly, leverage each other's strengths
Yeah.
so that we're all better together.
Yeah, share what you know. I think that your industry probably is pretty small generally. Like people move around companies a lot, it sounds like. I mean,
We're all connected.
so like even if like I always think about like do you have a competitor or do you have a potential partner? Like there's no like yes, you're competing, but there's not really competition here. Like
Not here.
you're
Yeah.
eventually going to probably work with this person on your team. So,
Mhm.
why not build those relationships from the very beginning?
And even as competitors, I get funny looks sometimes. I'll do lunch and learns and events with my best competitors
Yeah.
because we're all rowing in the same direction, and there's so much business out there. Let's get out there, educate our clients, help them, support them, enable their businesses. It will all come back to us,
Yeah.
right? It all evens out. It all comes out in the wash. It will all be fine, and we'll all have enough business for each other. So
Yes. Yeah.
rowing in the same direction. Let's not make it harder, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. So to kind of wrap up here, I always ask this same question to everybody, but if you could go back to the very first day when you started the executive evolution with your co-founder, what is one piece of advice you'd give yourself?
Ah, ooh. Gosh, so many come to mind. um, Stay the course. Do do it. Stay the
Yeah.
course, because there were a lot of moments where I've wanted to shut the book,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
chapter, and through a couple of really hard lessons, just stay the course, lean into the people that love you and keep going.
I love that. That's great. And I mean, I think that's a lot of that is just trust yourself too.
Yes.
You've gotten to this point. Trust yourself,
Yeah.
like,
Hit 100% of your worst days,
yeah.
right? Keep going. You've got
Yeah.
it.
Just keep moving. Amazing. Well, where can people find you online, Dani?
Yeah, we've got several groups, LinkedIn, our website. We've got a membership form. Maybe we can share that
Yeah.
in the. Okay, great.
Yes.
We'll
Yeah.
we'll share that. There's a lot of different forms. Our team membership, mentorship applications. We'd love and welcome anyone to be a part of that and be a part of the T community.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Dani. We'll link everything on our site and in our Spotify. And thank you for joining us today. I know that you're very busy, so I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. This is a joy. I love sharing our message and all about these wonderful ladies that have made tea so special. So really appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time.
Of course. And thank you to everyone at home or on the go for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. And if there's anything you'd like to hear on an upcoming episode, just let us know. For more insights, please follow us on LinkedIn or visit rightleftagency.com. And we'll be back next week with more stories of success, innovation, and marketing strategies to help you grow. See you on the next one.